Hello my dear crystal lovers, welcome back to the channel, and if you are new around here, my name is AM. I am a small business owner here in Copenhagen and I have a web shop at AVIUVI.com where you can go and find the most amazing and spectacular and ethically sourced crystals from all over the world, and I will leave you a link for it in the description below. Today I have a vlogcast for you guys. We are currently on holiday, and this is when I tend to have the most time to gather my thoughts and offer some words that might be supportive for you. Today I want to share my thoughts on the collective consciousness and some of the events that we are currently facing. 6 months ago I shared in my spring equinox vlogcast a few of my predictions for the coming years, what some of the themes would be, and that the main collective theme until the beginning of 2025 most likely will be about warfare. My predictions are based on a handful of sources, but more importantly my own knowledge and my own intuition. In the vlogcast named An Optimistic Approach, I go a little bit more into depth with some of the tools that you might want to consider using during this phase. So let me just recap a little bit for you. We're finding ourselves in an intense high energy time period. There's a big focus on personal power and individuals being willing to physically fight for what they believe in. It is most definitely a time for impatience, ruthlessness, recklessness, but it is also a time for liberation and for bravery and for independence. It is, however, not the time for peace. It is not a time for justice or balance or harmony, compromising, cooperation, or for people-pleasing. I thought about sharing a few personal stories relating to this topic in regards to the geopolitical landscape, but I want to continue communicating with you guys, so I guess those are more in-person type of conversations. But I can say that I don't find it difficult to understand why geopolitical events are playing out the way that they are right now. And I don't find it difficult to understand why particular parts of the world are flaring up right now. Because when countries and cities and societies are conditioned to believe that concepts like war and aggression are normal, it perfectly matches up with the current zeitgeist. What I predict we will see collectively in the next year and year and a half is an enhancement in the military globally and an escalation of conflicts, much encouraged by the military-industrial complex who stands to profit the most from this. We will, of course, like we always have, all be told that it is necessary. Since we're just in the beginning phases, today I will be sharing 9 really practical ways that I will be working with this collective energy in a more constructive way. Number 1 is physical movement. The easiest way of transmuting this energy is through physical movement. I'm currently finding avenues of moving my body in ways that releases some of that emotional tension. Intense cardio and building muscle is great for that because it's very physically engaging. Speed and heat, fast-paced movement and building strength are all really great ways to go about it. It could also be martial arts, but it could also be dancing to high energy music like techno, and we've seen a major return of that. So definitely physical movement as a way of transmuting whatever you're going through. Number 2 is mindfulness in everything. I practice noticing my emotions as they come up, and I do my best to separate them from me. So if, for example, I see something scary on social media, I recognize it by saying AM feels scared or AM is experiencing the emotion fear. This little space gives me the opportunity to witness how this emotion affects me instead of being completely identified with it. I notice where it affects my body, or if there's something I involuntarily do to kind of match or counterbalance this emotion. Other times I focus on my breath or on my heartbeat if I notice I'm being thrown off balance. One way of being intentional and mindful with your activities is by working with crystals. For me, I have crystals for all types of everyday scenarios, for relaxing and engaging with other people and for work and so on. And what they do is that they physically remind me of what my intentions with these activities are. This is a really easy and practical way of working with crystals, so I wanted to mention that definitely here. My third tip is meditation, and meditation really sets the foundation for clarity during the day. I'm the type of person that needs a lot of support for meditation, otherwise I get distracted. My practice is that I meditate for about 20 minutes every morning, and because my body is naturally restless when I'm awake, I sit with a pretty heavy crystal in my hands. Furthermore, I have my feet in Epsom salt in a little bath, which calms my body and prevents me from getting up, like physically, if I get an impulse to do so. I also listen to guided meditation in the beginning. Meditation is one of these things that you always hear that you're supposed to do and it's better for you. But to be honest with you, it really does set the foundation for clarity during the day. My fourth tip is being constructive instead of reactionary. So okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys here. This might be challenging for everybody, including me. What we really want to be doing is taking action with love in our hearts, but that can be really difficult, especially if and when we're triggered. One thing I've learned from the last 3 years is to give myself a window of 24 hours to go through the roller coaster of emotions before I take action. I meditate, I sleep on it, I write everything down. And in the last 6 months, I've also found that a really intense workout helps me to calm my nerves. If I want to be able to be present and hold space for transformation and take action for those in need, I have to be a constructive, loving force and not randomly reacting to anything that comes my way. My fifth tip is emotional self-care. If at this point you're having a hard time, if you're feeling compromised and sad and angry and tired and frustrated, that is completely understandable. Be aware of your boundaries, and if you feel yourself being reactionary, just take as much time as you need to gather yourself, because soothing and taking good care of yourself is not selfish. It actually makes you able to show up 100%. If you want to help someone with a broken leg, for example, it wouldn't help them if you break your leg or pretend to have a broken leg or sit down and cry with them or get angry. No, you need to be able to carry them, right? Showing up for others takes strength. And this is a great time to increase your spiritual practice because of this, whatever it might be. Find the strength and the confidence that's beyond your physical and mental form. Number 6, I'm sure, is no surprise to anybody, and that is nature. This is, of course, one of my favorite ways to recharge and reset my physical and mental health. If you live in the city, it might be difficult to find a wild nature area, but most cities do have parks. This current energy calls for more physical connection, so walking and running barefoot. It could also be more physically intense activities like hiking, wild swimming, and winter bathing. So spending time in nature is basically just a no-brainer. Number 7 is eating good food, and the reason why I have this one on my list is because it can be really easy slipping into some bad habits when you feel like you're under pressure. So making an extra effort to eat clean food that actually nourish the body and is good for your body is definitely something to consider. The more I do to boost my immune system and stay healthy, the more of a mental surplus I also tend to have. For me, it's an organic vegan diet. with a lot of delicious, tasty options. That's definitely what my body thrives on, but of course it's different for everybody. But if I do that and I make sure to be drinking plenty of water and taking my vitamin supplements, I have a lot more energy than I otherwise would, and I can actually show up and be there for other people. Tip number 8 is limiting my media consumption. Just like with food, media consumption can also distract and numb me. I like to be objectively informed, but let's be honest, because most of the information we get through the conventional legacy media is political propaganda or camouflaged advertisement. Simultaneously, social media like YouTube is also saturated with hidden advertisements and, of course, under strict censorship. So the media isn't necessarily the best source to find the truth. One way of working constructively with the current energy is to do a media detox. It is to set a goal for how little or how much media information you consume. So maybe your goal is 1 hour per day. Maybe it is a specific media channel that you want to cut out. But generally, I would say that this is a very favorable time to be ambitious and to reach concrete personal goals. So detoxing from media is definitely attainable. Tip number 9 is volunteering. If you feel like you're not doing enough, doing volunteer work, I have found it's one of the best ways to get out of the ego and into the habit of service. Even the most simple services like serving food, cleaning, collecting trash on the beach, especially actually those mundane, less glamorous tasks, are really good for both for yourself, of course, but also for everybody else. It can also be a great way of connecting with your local community and contribute with your unique talents and passions. So look, I know that hearing that this is not a time for peace or balance or harmony is not necessarily the best news. But you know what is good news? It is good news that it's time to claim our individual power and worthiness. It is finding the areas in life where we don't want to compromise, areas where we wish we had more determination and clear boundaries. So this is absolutely a time for individual power and liberation. So many spiritual workers are so ready to help and assist us during this time, so don't hesitate to reach out. But I hope that these 9 really easy and really applicable ways to stay clear and to work with the collective energy instead of fighting it was inspiring for you. Feel free to share the vlogcast if you know someone who would benefit from it. And thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe so I'll know if this episode was valuable to you. As always, I want to wish you the most amazing day with so much love to you and to yours.